But tonight I thought we'd start by doing a little bit of Guess the Rotarian, and I'll do that, and that's going to be followed by a membership presentation. And then, after that, we're going to do a really fun activity that Maggie has brought to me. It's an activity I haven't participated in myself, but she did it with a Rotary Youth Exchange group, and so we will, after she did it, she said, we've got to do that here on membership night, so we'll do that. It's going to be great fun. So, I have a Rotarian in mind, and I want you to, I'll give you just a few facts about this person. And I guess I might as well start by saying he, in college, did something that wasn't your typical college activity like getting a part-time job or playing tennis. He was a race car driver on the side. It is a he. Yep, Diana got that. So that narrows it down already, down to about 2/3 of us. So it's a he. So he was a race car driver in college. And I guess he won a couple of divisions that he participated in. In high school, going back in time, he was a big football player. He played as an offensive lineman, and it was at a local high school, so he was here during high school. I'll tell you, it was a big football program. It was called Del Oro High School. But while I say he was a big football player, I understand he only weighed 140 pounds at that time, if that helps any. And lastly, one of his childhood memories is that his father was in the Marine Corps, and he remembers that his father was shipped out to circle Cuba during the Cuban Missile Crisis, and it really had an effect. So, raise your hand if you think you might know who that is. Jeannie.
Ray.
Ah, shoot. You're right, it is Ray. So, anyway, I would like to just tell you that Ray is my boss. You know, he's such a nice guy. He's so soft-spoken and everything, but he actually oversees all the membership chairs in the whole district. That's 41 clubs. We're lucky to have him. You couldn't ask for a better speaker on members. So with that, thank you, Ray.
Since Alice spent so much time trying to figure this out, I thought I needed to have some intro music, so I started. Well, first of all, wearing my district membership hat tonight, I want to say thank you for this club, because this club has a culture of bringing in new people and a culture of welcoming people into Rotary. Not all clubs can say that. I can tell you, I visit a lot of them, and that's why we have these three people joining us tonight that are trying to start a club, because I wanted to see how you bring people in. So thank you all. Give yourself a hand for that. So tonight I'd just like to go over a couple of the things. First, I want to talk a little bit about retention, which is keeping us as Rotarians. And the way I think we need to do that is by defining ourselves as Rotarians and also understanding the other people in our club. I'm going to go over a little bit about the 3 T's of Rotary. And then a little bit about how or what you need to do to become a more involved Rotarian. As I mentioned earlier, I got to go to the summit last weekend and meet all these different people. So there's a group of us that were district leadership and then a group that were young professionals. There was one thing that came out that every group agreed upon. In order to be a Rotarian and stay a Rotarian, you needed to get value out of Rotary. And value varied by the different people, but there has to be value there for you. So I think that in order to get value, we've got to understand ourselves and what we want to get out of Rotary. So as a club, when we look around here, we can tell that we're a very diverse club. You know, we're multi-racial, multi-gender. We are multi-generational. Obviously, we have people in the 20s and people that are not in the 20s. Or maybe they don't even remember their 20s. We have varied income, right? Some people are starting their careers, some people are retired, and then we have everything in between. We have different lifestyles. You know, we have, people here that haven't started their families yet, and we have grandparents, and all of those things vary our lifestyle. And then we have varied health. You know, when I started in Rotary, I was one of those people that was the strong back. I did all the heavy lifting in my old club. Today, I have some back problems, so I got to be very careful when I'm doing heavy lifting. And I know that other people are in different stages of their health too. And then we have varied experiences. You know, as we've gone through life, we've brought in different things that we can bring to Rotary. And I think we're going to be fair to all concerned, we can't necessarily judge people in the club by our backgrounds. We have to find out more about them. And one of the easy way that we can do this is we got to start looking at ourselves. And I know we say it a lot that we're a family. And family's great because that means we care about each other. But I like to think of us as more of a team. And I like us to start thinking that way because, we're starting football season, right? We've got preseason games. Every team thinks they can go to the Super Bowl, right? And that's the highest pinnacle for their sport. And isn't that what we want to do? We just don't want to be a large club, which we're officially a large club now. We want to do bigger things. We want to do the bigger projects. We want to help more people in our community. And we need to have bigger fundraisers, have those best fundraisers. So I thought a good way of understanding the team concept and start putting this into your mind is thinking about our contributions to the Rotary Foundation. As you probably know, many of us are trying to achieve our Paul Harris Fellow. But what is that? That means in your lifetime, you give $1,000 to the Rotary Foundation. It's not in any certain time frame, just during your lifetime. But what does Rotary really require you to give? It's nothing. There's no requirement. They just put out the Paul Harris Fellow to encourage you to do that. So what happens is a lot of clubs wants to win awards. And this is a club that loves to win awards. So some of them wants to become an every Rotarian every year. And this again was a program designed to get every Rotarian in a club to help out. So let's say we had a club of 10 members, and the rules say that we have to have an average of $100 per person, and everybody has to give something. So if we were a club with just 10 members, and we had that one person that says, I'm going to give that $1,000 this year, and because I want to be part of the Paul Harris Society, we've met the $100 average. But everybody else was now have to kick in. So if they worked as a team, some people may just give the $1, some may give 100, some may give 200, but they could get that average and win that award. And that's what I like to start thinking about is what is our part in the team? So one of the ways that you can define yourself in Rotary is under this, what we call the 3 T's of Rotary. It's talent, it's treasury, and time. And you have to find out which one of those 3s or what parts of those 3s that you can give. We know that a lot of us have talent, and some of it is a professional talent. That professional talent could be, maybe you're good at marketing, so you can bring that to our club. Maybe you're a sales type of person, so you go sell for our club. Or maybe something interesting they heard this weekend is this one of these young professional clubs, what they were looking for was help within the club. Because they had these young professionals that needed help with their careers. So they were actually having time where they could bring resumes, and other members of the club could actually help those members look at their resume and help them so they could spice it up so they could get a better job. Needs more money to the foundation, right? Well, maybe it's a hobby. Any of you have any hobbies? Well, Bob created this, so he must have some woodworking capability. So do they have hobbies that you want to bring to the club? If you have some of the things, you can bring those talents to our club. Or maybe you just have an interest. How many Rotarians have you met that wanted to become leaders in the community and they needed some place to be mentored and develop those skills? You can do that in our Rotary Club. So you can use all those talents to help our club. As far as treasury, obviously there's 2 ways of doing it. One is we all have to give some treasury, right? Because we have dues and we have the meal cost. But then how much more can you give? Can you give to the Rotary Foundation? Can you give to our club foundation? Or can you give to Happy Bucks because Diana's making us? But the other way that it can be really powerful is by using other people's money. So maybe you don't have that deep pocket that another member does. But if you could bring in a $10,000 sponsorship to Uncork or something like that, that'd be more than most of our members would bring in that year. So just think about it. How can you leverage that? So maybe you can't go into your own pocket, but go into other people's pocket to help our club out. And then there's time. How much do you have? How much can you devote to the club? You know, Jim and I are in a business right now that this time of year we have a little extra time on our hand. Jim spends it fishing, I spend it in Rotary. This is actually the 16th meeting in this month that I've gone to. I figured that just in meeting time for Rotary, I've devoted 50 hours, and that's not including travel time, prep, or anything else, just for this 1 month. I have that luxury that I can give the time. But you may have competition for your time. So it's not important that you don't give that much time, but you got to find out how much time you can give and balance it with these other items. Because we know that once we get together, we can work as a team by you knowing how you can use those 3 T's and bring it to the club. So how can you help? First, I'm going to ask you to understand yourself. How much time can you do? How much money can you give? And what talents do you have that you can bring to the club? Be realistic. Don't burn yourself out on Rotary, but give what you can. Then I'm going to ask you to do something else. Can you stretch yourself a little bit? This year, I'll give you a good example. You know, I really like Glenn. We've gotten along for years. And he's asked me to do some stuff that's costing me some money. It's stretching my budget a little bit, but I'm willing to do it this year. Where can you stretch? Can you stretch in some more time? Can you stretch in the bank book? Wherever. Just look and see where you can stretch that so you can give a little bit extra if you can. And then, more importantly, understand the other members. So just because I put in 50 hours in meetings this week, I have no expectation that anybody else did. But I'd like to know, Cliff, how much time can you give Rotary? And then how much of those other things can you give? So we can find the right place. Because if you look at a football team, not everybody has the speed to be the wide receiver. You know, I was lucky that at the time when I went to Del Oro, we were a small school. So at 140 pounds, I could be an offensive lineman. Now I probably couldn't make the team. But that's what we're going to do. We're going to find out each one of your talents. Because someone's going to be a quarterback or the leader of a project or a committee, and then other people are going to do other parts on that committee or on that project to get it done. And if we can do this and we do this right, we should be there helping you fulfill your passion, the thing that makes you maybe become a Rotarian, and the thing that's going to make you be a better Rotarian. So going back to the first thing, giving you value for the time, money, and talent that you spend in Rotary. And I know that all the leaders in this group would like to have you help. So if you talk to any of the leaders and you think that you can help them, find one of those leaders and show them how you can help. Here's just an example of a committee that you can help out of. So, we're always talking about the 4-way test, and we want to be fair to all concerned. So when you look back and you look at those 3 T's, are you being fair to the club? Are you being fair to your fellow Rotarians? And if so, I know that we can take this club and make it not only the number one club in the district, but one of the greatest clubs in all of Rotary. Thank you.
Thanks, Ray.